Two people can face the exact same situation, the same failure, the same pressure, the same fear, and still walk away with completely different futures. That difference doesn't come from conditions, but from the choices we make even in the moments we feel the most overwhelmed. When I joined a new coding class with my friend, at first everything felt unfamiliar. The topics were extreme, the pace was fast, and we barely understood what was going on. Each session left us questioning whether we even belonged there at all. I personally felt behind, confused, and honestly just tempted to give up. Over time, the pressure built up. My friend, she started missing classes, saying it felt pointless and too overwhelming. Eventually, she decided to leave completely. I felt the same doubt, the same frustration, but instead of walking away, I chose to stay, to struggle through it, and slowly improve. Here, the difference wasn't luck, it wasn't privilege, it wasn't even talent. It was one thing, a choice. Every single day, we make hundreds of choices. But here's the truth. Most of us don't choose consciously. We choose what's easier, what seems familiar, anything that feels safer in the moment. And when things don't go our way, we tend to blame circumstances, luck, timing, or even other people. Why? Because blaming feels easier than admitting that our choices matter way more than we think. See, life doesn't pause to ask whether you're ready for its challenges. Rejection, failure, fear, none of these come with a warning. But here's something most people realize almost when it's too late. It's not what happens to us that shapes our lives, it's how we choose to respond to it. The same event can break one person and build another simply because one reacts emotionally while the other responds intentionally. A reaction is instant. A response is a decision. And that small pause, that moment where you choose how to respond is where the power lives. If you look at history, innovation, and progress, you'll notice something interesting. None of these begin with certainty nor confidence. They begin with a choice. Someone chose to question what everyone else simply just accepted. To try again after failing publicly multiple times. Someone chose courage over comfort. And what we often call brilliance or bravery usually starts at fear, followed by a decision to act anyway. That person didn't know their choice would matter. What they did not let happen was let fear make the decision for them. This doesn't only apply to history makers. It applies to us every single day. Choosing kindness over attitude, efforts over excuses, choosing to speak up even when staying silent feels easier. One of the simplest yet most powerful choices we can make is to take small, baseline initiatives. It can be as simple as raising your hand in class, asking a doubt, or trying even when you're unsure. Yes, I know these choices may seem insignificant, but understand, confidence isn't something built overnight. It's built through repeated choices to show up for your own self. I know this because I've lived it. When I joined a new school, I expected the challenge to be academics. Instead, it was finding my voice. I was always shy. I knew answers, but never raised my hand. I had opinions, but kept them to myself. Every day, I chose silence, not because I had nothing to say, but because I was afraid of being judged. That choice slowly made me invisible. Worse, it made me doubt myself. Then it hit me. No one was stopping me from speaking up. I was. So I made a different choice. Not a big one, just small, intentional moments. One question, one answer, one step outside of my comfort zone. At first, it felt awkward. It felt scary. but it changed how people saw me, and importantly, how I saw myself. That experience taught me that the power of choice isn't about bold, dramatic decisions. It's about choosing growth over comfort, even when your courage feels unsteady. Let's be honest about why these small choices are so hard. No, it's not laziness, it's fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being wrong, fear of standing out in a world that rewards fitting in. We live in a time where criticism is loud, opinions are instant, and staying silent often feels safer than speaking up. So we hesitate, we wait, we tell ourselves maybe later, and slowly, that hesitation turns into a habit. Not because we lack ability, but because we let fear choose for us. And when fear is making our decisions, we're not really living, we're avoiding. Obviously, we can't always control the challenges life throws at us or our situations, but what we can control is our decisions. Those decisions, quiet, ordinary, often unnoticed, are what slowly builds our destiny. So the next time you feel powerless, remember, it's not what happens to you that shapes your lives. It's how you choose to respond to it. And that right there is the power of choice. Thank you.